Hi, my name's Dave Fountain and I was a teacher for 27 years and I wish I'd paid more attention to my pension because I missed a golden opportunity to get nearly £2,000 a year more without having to put any more into it. Now I only found out about this after I stopped teaching when it was too late to do anything about it. However, with many of my friends still teaching, I took it upon myself to learn as much as I could about the scheme and to help them, and now you, get as much from it as you can. One of the biggest barriers I've been asked repeatedly about concerns how much you lose if you take the pension early. And so in this video I'm going to look at what that 20% actually means, and do you lose it? Do you really lose it? Now firstly, let's start off by making it clear that financially there's no way a £20,000 pension will beat a £60,000 salary. But money's not the only measure of success. Money cannot buy you time. None of us knows how much time we have left, but we can to some extent work out how much money we need. The teacher's pension is a good pension. It is index linked, so if it can provide what you need this year, then it stands a very good chance it will do so every year in the future. The biggest concern about taking the pension early is that you lose 20%. But is that true? Do you really lose 20%? And is that all you're going to lose? Now I'm going to look just at the National Pension Age 60 final salary scheme in this presentation, but at the end of the presentation I'll give you a link to a summary sheet that covers the other teachers' pension scheme. That's the 65 age final salary and the 67 and 68 career average schemes. But spoiler alert, they're pretty similar to this one. So at 55 you get 81.1% of what you've built up in your pension. So yes, it looks roughly about 20%. And to make the maths easy, I'm going to stick to 20% to start with. At the very end, I'll give a link to a spreadsheet that uses all the actual percentages. So what do you lose by taking the pension early? Well, you lose the opportunity to build up more pension. So you're losing 5 years worth of salary. You lose 5 years of the enjoyment that teaching brings you. But what do you gain? You gain 80% of your pension and the freedom, the time to spend doing things that you want to do when you otherwise would be teaching. At the moment, all of the pension schemes allow you to go 5 years early, to take it 5 years before the actual national pension age. In the final salary scheme, each year adds 1/80th to your pension. So on a £60,000 final salary, that puts an extra £750 onto the value of your pension each year. Which means that if you can face doing another 5 years, your pension will start off being £3,750 more than it would have been. And of course, you've been paid £60,000 for each of those 5 years, so £300,000. But what if you do not want to do another 5 years? So let's look at an example of someone who is ready to leave teaching at 55 and what it means to take or leave their pension at 55 or to wait until they're 60. So looking quickly at this, we see that we've got a full pension of 20,000. The 20% reduction gives you a pension at 55 of 16,000. So you have lost 4,000. Well, I wouldn't say that necessarily because you don't have the choice between them. You don't have the 20,000. So you cannot lose any of it. What you can have is the 16,000. So it's a bit like a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. You can take it now or you can leave it till later. And have we lost 20%? So we're going to look at that a little bit closer. So let's have a look at the money in your bank. So if you're at 55, you take the money when you're 55. You end up with a lump sum, 3 lots of 16,000. At 56, you've had 1 year of pension, so that's adding on another 16,000. And then 57, another year, 58, another year, 59, another year, until you get to, say, 59. Now at 59, you have been paid £112,000. That's £112,000 more that you've had in this compared to you waiting until you're 60. When you get to 60, you're now going to start to catch up. The 60-year-old is getting paid £20,000 a year. But they've got quite a long way to catch up. the early version of the pension has paid out 128,000. The age 60 version instantly makes up 60,000 through the lump sum, which means it's now 68,000 behind. And every year from now on it will catch up by 4,000. So at 61, you're 64,000 behind. 62, 60,000. And so on until you get up to the age of 77. And it's from this point that we can say you really started. Up until this point, you've actually been ahead by taking the money early. We've got totals here of £400,000 being paid out. So if you left at 55, 22 years later, you've received 400,000. If you left at 60, 17 years later, you've reached that 400,000. So you're getting £4,000 less per year. So is that really 20% that you've lost? Well, look at the total amount received, 400,000. 4,000 compared to that figure is just 1%. Of course, when you get to 78, 2% behind. But that's it. And you can see that those sort of age, are you getting higher? You are going to start losing out, but you have been ahead until that point. So the big question is whether or not it is worth it. Now, no one can know simply because we cannot tell the future. But to plan, there are two questions you need to answer. What do you need? Food, shelter, safety, the basic human needs. And what do you want? If you can identify the answers and, more importantly, the costs of these, then you can work out when your pension will be able to achieve them. So don't get hung up on the losing 20% of your pension. It's about what you need and what you want, and when you can match what you're getting with those. So, to summarise, you get less money when you stop working. You get more time when you stop working. If you can match your income to your needs and your wants, then you've succeeded. I hope this has helped. The next slide is simply a link to the spreadsheet that I referred to earlier, which has got the data for the different pension schemes. Now, the spreadsheet is available on the internet and you can make your own copy. I'll put the link in the comments below so that you can go there. The first page it brings you to is a kind of summary page where you can put in the different ages that you want to look at and where your different pension schemes. Now, it is possible for teachers to be in 3 different pension schemes at the same time. That's probably going to change with the McLeod judgment, but this page allows that to happen. Now, although that's useful for working out what your pensions will be at the different ages, what I draw your attention to is the bit at the bottom. Before you do that, you've got to make your own copy. You can't alter mine, that wouldn't work. So go File, make a copy, and then you can put your own numbers in. And the page I want to draw your attention to, the tabs across the bottom here, things like the final salary, national pension age 60, it allows you to put in what your full pension is, that is what you would get at 60, it's shown on your benefit statement. And then down here you've got the ages in years and months and what that pension will be when you take off the early reduction. Now, I have included here the effects of tax. This applies if this is your only income. And that is your tax. This year is 12,500. So we take that off, and if you don't pay tax, that's where we get the numbers from. Now, this is interesting. This is where, I rounded to 20%. If you take the 81.1%, if you go at 55, I showed you it was about 77 years before you caught up. Well, if this is your only income and we take a tax into account, figure here, 82.5. So another 5 years essentially for waiting till you're 60 to catch up.